Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. I've published my next course, PL-900 practice test. So right now it's a new course. I haven't had any ratings to show you. It's around 120 questions. I'm hoping to add more questions in the next few weeks or months. Here are some of the reasons why you should check out this course and why it is different from other courses. On top of that, I've organized the questions into 4 levels: remember level questions, understand level questions, application level, and analysis level. So these come directly from the Bloom taxonomy. You can check what it means. So this is a way to design questions for any exam. And what I'm going to do is walk you through some of the sample questions from my practice test. So head over to my website, and here I have published 5 sample questions. If you want to see more questions, then like this video and write in the comments that you want to have more questions from my practice test. If I get enough enthusiasm from you all, I'm going to make another video, probably include another 20-30 questions. So that will be helpful for your preparation. So let's get started. Review the below 2 statements about the ability of flows or apps to connect to more than one Dataverse database. Choose yes if the statement is correct, else choose no. So the statement 1 says that you can create a Power Automate flow that connects to Dataverse tables in different environments. And statement 2 says that you can create a Canvas app that can access tables in more than one Dataverse database. Now, the first statement is talking about accessing data in more than one environment, and the second statement is talking about accessing data in more than one Dataverse database. But you should know that you can create only one Dataverse database in a Power Platform environment. So both statements ask the same question: can you access Dataverse tables in a different environment from a flow or app? And here is the Microsoft documentation saying that you can only add a single database to an environment. You can also click this link. Here is where I have highlighted the documentation saying that you can add only a single database. So let's go ahead with the explanation. So if you're using the Dataverse connector, which is a non-legacy connector, it always connects to the database in the current environment where the flow is running. So there is no option to select an environment with the latest non-legacy Dataverse connector. But then if you use the legacy Dataverse connector, it lets you choose Dataverse tables from a different environment within the same tenant. So if you are using the legacy one, you can connect to a Dataverse database in a different environment. But there is a risk that we do not know till when Microsoft will support the legacy connector, or if the option to connect to Dataverse tables in a different environment will be available in the current non-legacy connector. But for now though, statement 1 is correct. And for statement 2, in addition to the tables in the current environment where the app is created, you can change the environment to select Dataverse tables from a different environment. You just have to go to the tables, click the 3 dots, and here you can change the environment. This feature enables us to access tables in more than one Dataverse database, of course in different environments. So now you see that I've connected to accounts table in the current environment, and I've connected to accounts_1 table in a different environment. So statement 2 is also correct. Now let's go to the next question. And this question is related to custom connectors. There is a project requirement to fetch a list of all Office 365 or Microsoft 365 groups from your tenant in a Power Automate flow. When you search for the list of actions for the Office 365 Groups connector, you do not see any connector action that gets a list of Office 365 groups. So these are all the different actions that are available for the Office 365 groups. The question says that there is no connector which will give me the list of all groups in my tenant. You need an action which can give you the list of all groups in your Microsoft 365 tenant. So your colleague recommends you create a custom connector for Office 365 groups that satisfy your needs. Now what would you do? So option 1 says that you reject the recommendation since it is not possible to create a custom connector as a standard connector for Office 365 groups is already available. Option 2 says that suggest an idea to Microsoft through user voice. So there is the option to submit your ideas to Microsoft if you want to add any action through user voice. That is also a valid option. The third option says that just accept your colleague's recommendation and go ahead and create a custom connector. And the fourth option says that you share a connector proposal on the GitHub repository. Now let's look at the explanations. So many pre-built connectors may not expose everything an underlying API or service can perform. An API can perform hundreds of different things. But someone who is developing the connector, be it the Microsoft or the verified publishers or the independent publishers, may only include certain actions in a connector. So in case you need something offered by the API but not available in the connector, you can extend the Power Platform by creating a custom connector. For the given scenario, I can query the Microsoft Graph API, go to developer.microsoft.com and use the Graph Explorer. So you can query the Microsoft Graph API to get a list of all groups in my organization. For example, here I am using get method to list all groups in my organization. Since I'm able to do this within the Microsoft Graph API, I can go ahead and build a new custom connector and define an action called list groups using the request response details from the Graph Explorer. So here is how I'm doing it. In the below image, I am testing a connector to check if the list groups action retrieves the list of groups. So basically I've defined the connector here. I'm not showing you the entire process because it's a fundamentals exam. I cannot show you everything. So here I've created the action in a connector and I'm testing the operation and I'm getting the list of groups. Once you create the connector, you can use the list groups action from the custom connector in a Power Automate flow. So even if a connector is available and if that connector does not have the action that you need, you can always go ahead and create a custom connector. As long as you do not go to Microsoft and say that I need to certify, it's perfectly valid. And you can watch this video, start the video at this particular minute. You will see details about this particular topic. So option 1 is incorrect. So what is option 1? Option 1 is reject the recommendation, okay, which is incorrect obviously because we learned that we can create a custom connector even if a standard connector is already available. And what is option 2? Option 2 is also incorrect. I would not say this is an incorrect option, but this is not the best option. Probably you can submit an idea to user voice, but since it is only for your project, it is very easy and quick to develop your own custom connector rather than submitting a request and waiting for it to be approved and available. Okay. And option 4 is also incorrect because you share a connector proposal on the GitHub repository if you want to certify a custom connector as an independent publisher. So you can go over the steps here. So basically you would be submitting a connector proposal on the GitHub repository only if you want to certify a custom connector as an independent publisher. So this is the process for independent publisher certification. Here you share your connector proposal with Microsoft. That is one of the first steps. So let's go to the next question. The next question is on AI Builder. So the company Munchery Juice has retail outlets across Canada. They want to use the social media platform Twitter to automatically extract tweets containing hashtag Munchery Juice and tag as either delivery or taste or ambience and store them in the database. Which AI Builder model is relevant? So the AI Builder custom category classification model analyzes unstructured text, which is a tweet, and classifies and tags them. So to collect data, I created a Power Automate flow that triggers when a tweet with a hashtag #MuncheryJuice is tweeted. So anyone who is tweeting with this hashtag, Power Automate flow is going to listen to that and it's going to extract details out of that. So then I store the Twitter text in a Dataverse table. So I'm extracting the data from Twitter and storing it in my table. For model training, I add tags for each tweet entry. Okay, whatever tweets that I have received, I am classifying it as either related to ambience or delivery or taste in the Dataverse table. I use this table for model training. Using the trained model, the model can learn to apply tags to the incoming tweets. So to tag text entries, the category classification model is the most suitable choice. Option 1, key phrase extraction, is incorrect because first, the key phrase extraction model is a pre-built model. You cannot train the model and you cannot use it to analyze your own custom data. So for analyzing your own data, you need to use a custom model, not a pre-built model. And further to that, the key phrase extraction model extracts the main talking points in a given text. If you type your own text, it will analyze the text and it will extract the main talking points. Like it's about contoso, it's about account, it's about payment. So it will extract this as per its understanding. You cannot use it to classify data or rather to tag data according to your business needs. Option 3 is also incorrect. So option 3 is about entity extraction. Now entity extraction and category classification, they look pretty similar, but there is a difference. So entity extraction identifies or extracts keywords from the text related to your business, and category classification buckets or classifies or tags the data into predefined categories. Let me give you an example. Muncheri Juice tags tweets as either delivery or ambience with category classification. We have already seen that. We just need to tag it once, train the model, and for incoming tweets, it will automatically tag it and classify it. But we use the entity extraction model to identify or extract order statuses like either delivered, cancelled, or delayed to classify them into the order status category. So it doesn't classify entire text into one of the different categories. What it does is that it extracts the main entities that are defined. For example, here order statuses. So any order status, like for example delivered or cancelled or delayed, appearing in your text will be considered and extracted as an order status entity. So that's the difference here. So this is the example. My item is arriving late, please cancel it. So the order status is cancel. So the entity order status is extracted from this text using the entity extraction model. Option 4, sentiment analysis, is also a pre-built model to detect the positive or negative sentiment in text data, and we do not want to determine sentiment here. So let's go to the next question. And the next question is on Power BI. So you publish a Power BI report in shared capacity based on the below data set that connects to a SQL server in direct query mode. The users experience performance degradation while loading reports based on this fact table. So the sales table contains more than 1 billion records, and here is the report. Which of the following is the best way to mitigate performance issues? Either create aggregations, remove unused columns, change the data storage mode to import, or turn off unnecessary visual interactions between them. So let's go through the explanation. Since the sales table contains a huge number of rows, remember it's a fact table, and the report uses only a subset of the fields, we can create an aggregated table by using the group by operation in Power Query. So here is the group by operation. This operation outputs a record for each group or a combination of category values and aggregates the numeric values. So similar to how you know group by in SQL, this is how group by in Power Query also works. You just categorize by a category column and aggregate the numeric values for that category. The aggregation can be either sum, average, minimum, max, anything. Here I am telling you how to do the group by operation for that table. So select the category columns used in the report as group by columns. So I am selecting here product color, product line, and year, and click group by. And in the group by window, we can view the selected columns as group by columns. And in addition to that, you add the numeric fields, like the way I said, to aggregate like total sales amount, order quantity, and average unit price. And click OK and close the Power Query window. And now we get a trimmed down model with only the required fields. So earlier the model was so big, so many columns. Now we have only the required columns that will be used within this particular report. Okay, so creating aggregation is the correct choice. So option 2 is incorrect. So what does option 2 says? Option 2 says to remove the unused column. Now let's learn why it is incorrect. Even if you remove unused columns for each visual, a query is sent to the backend that aggregates more than a billion records in real time, so visuals will still load slowly. Aggregation is a better performance optimization technique than removing columns. So I hope you understand that even if you remove unused columns, the amount of data that's been generated for any visual is the same. Okay, now for example, you are using only 2 columns here, but you may remove all the other columns, but then the data is not in an aggregated form, so it has to aggregate in real time and display the data, so it's still going to be slow. Option 3 is also incorrect. Option 3 is changing the storage mode to import. So this is incorrect because although this will improve the performance as the queries are retrieved directly from the cache, but since the dataset is in a shared capacity, a table with a huge number of rows may not fit within the allocated memory size, which is 1 GB for shared capacity. Now recall that we have said that the Power BI report is in a shared capacity, so that's why there is a limitation for option 3. Option 4, turn off unnecessary visual interactions between the visuals. So by default, every visual on a report can interact with others. We can reduce the number of queries fired at the back end by turning off unnecessary interactions between them. But since there are only 3 visuals in the report, turning them off will not yield any noticeable benefit. So that's why this option is also incorrect and aggregation is the right choice. So let's move on to the final question on Power Virtual Agents. So Chateau Milk Company delivers milk products to its customers in the US. The company develops a Power Virtual Agents chatbot to provide a self-service ordering experience to users. The chatbot must meet the following requirements. If users query about undefined issues like placing bulk orders, a new request has to be posted in the Microsoft Teams channel, so team members are aware of the in-demand topics and can plan to update the bot. And the other requirement is that if the company hasn't created relevant topics for such scenarios, you should display the message, "Our agent will be in touch with you in the next 24 hours." Which 2 Power Virtual Agents components are best suited for this purpose? So there are 6 options and you need to choose which 2 options are best suit to achieve these requirements. So let's go with the explanation. So chatbots invoke escalate topic for undefined issues on the 3rd prompt, but it's not a good user experience for the customer to type the issue multiple times. For example, here the customer has asked for looking for dealerships for which the company has not created any chatbot topic. So the bot doesn't understand. The customer is trying to rephrase what he is trying to tell. Still, the bot doesn't understand because there are no relevant topics. And then on the 3rd prompt only, the bot escalates the conversation to a live agent. So this message is displayed because the chatbot triggers the escalate topic. In the escalate topic, you can paste an URL to communicate with the live agent. Okay. Since it is not possible to create topics for all kinds of user queries, enable the system fallback topic for the chatbot. So this fallback topic is a catch-all topic, which means if a topic is undefined for any user query, the fallback topic is invoked. So when the user types looking for dealerships, the chatbot directly triggers the fallback topic. There is no trigger phrase. Any unrecognized input is considered as a trigger phrase, and then gets the user's message in a variable and it triggers a flow. So in the fallback topic, the user's query, which is looking for dealerships, is captured in the variable called unrecognized trigger phrase, and we can pass this variable as a parameter to the Teams channel via a flow. So here is the flow I have designed. So the flow is actually triggered from a Power Virtual Agent chatbot conversation. And then here I am posting a message to the channel and I am using the user query. So basically user query gets value from unrecognized trigger phrase, and the team members get notified about the in-demand topics and can plan to update the board accordingly. So you can see the example of the bot posting a message here. There is a new query from the customer looking for dealerships. Okay. So from the discussion above, a fallback topic is essential to capture undefined user intent. So option 4 is one of the correct answers. Okay. Option 4 is fallback topic. In addition to that, since we need to display, let's look at the second point. Since the company hasn't created relevant topics for such scenarios, any undefined issue, the message should be displayed to the user. In addition to that, since we need to display the message, our agent will be in touch with you in the next 24 hours to the user, option 2 is the other correct choice. And the option 2 is nothing but message node. So we need to display a message. So message node is the other correct choice. So that's it from my end, and please don't forget to like, subscribe to my channel, and let me know in the description if you want to see more videos like this from PL-900. More questions I can bring it to you, and have a nice day. Thank you.